Hi guys, today I'll show you how you can add the multiple local fonts in your NextJS project, and it works for both the version 13 and the version 14. So if we see the workflow, so the workflow will be something like this. Firstly, what we will do is we will add the copy of those font in our project repo. So in my case, I'm using the two fonts, and those fonts are class display, and the other font we are using is IndieFlower. So on the first step, what I will do is I will add those fonts in my project repo. And secondly, in the second step, what I will do is I will load those fonts in my NextJS project using the loader, which is provided by the NextJS itself. And in the third step, I will add those font variable in my layout.tsx file. And as I'm using the Tailwind file, so Tailwind CSS, so I will add those font in my Tailwind config file so I can use wherever I want and whenever I need it. So, and at the end, I will use those font. So this is the workflow. And if I see what I have created till now is I have created the folder or the NextJS project with the folder name is next multiple local fonts. And the only thing I have changed is if I go to app and if I go to the page.tsx, here you can see I have replaced the boiler code, which is provided by the NextJS itself, with my custom font. And if I run it and see it, we can see that I have added only two things. That is the S1 font, and the other one is the p tag. So if we see the workflow, first thing first, what I need to do is I need to add those fonts in the project repo. So in order to do so, let's go to our next multiple local file. Let's create the folder called assets, and inside the assets, let me create the folder called fonts, and let me drag the fonts we are planning to use. So in my case, I'm using the class display and the indie font. So I have loaded this font in the assets to the font folder. So now the first step is complete. So for the second step, I must use the loader. So in order to use the loader, let me create another folder called utils, and inside the utils, let me add the file called custom-font-nextjs. So either you can use this loader inside your layout page itself, but I follow this approach because it helps to separate all the font related code away from that layout part, making the code clutter free. Is we need the loader. Let me import the loader with the name local font from next font local. So we provide the object to the local font, which covers which takes the src, which is an object, so which is an array, and inside the array what we give is the path. So path basically means where the font is located. As we have added the font in the assets and fonts and the class display, so let me add the IndieFlower first, and this is the path. Okay, so this is the path, and I need to provide it as an object. So this is okay. So again, what I have to give is the variable, so which is just like the name to identify this font. So in my case, is the font is IndieFlower, I will give the name, is the variable name is IndieFlower, and is this local font will return an object. So let me store that object in the variable called IndieFlower. So I have imported or loaded this IndieFlower. So similarly, I will import the other font called the class display. Let me just copy and paste and explain it what I have done. So here what I have done is I have, again, in the similar pattern, I have given the path, and let me show this one. So I have added these weight, so weight, and the final one is the style. So weight means if it is an extra light, we generally give the weights 200. If it is light, 300, and the weight goes like this. By the way, if you are confused about what weight to give, so I have written a detailed article regarding the adding the custom local font in the NextJS project, and below you can find a link pointing to the Tailwind CSS, which covers the what classes weight we give for the classes like the medium, normals, and similar like that. So as we have imported or loaded this font, we need to export it so that we can use it. We can use it in the variable in the layout.tsx file. So in order to do so, let me export class display and the indie font. So we have completed now the step 2. So we are now proceeding to the step 3. In the step 3, so we need to add the font variable in the layout. So in order to do so, let me open the app, and if I go inside the layout, so as you can see, the Google font is already used. So we will be using our local font similar to that of the Google. So in order to do so, let me import the class display, and the other font is indie flower. So as we are not using this Google font, so we can remove it. So we need to remove it from here too. So we do have this class display and the indie flower. So in order to use this font, we need to give the class names to the body class name. So the way we can give is we need to write the name of the font and with the variable, with the dot variable. So the other one is indie flower, not the indie db, indie flower dot again variable. So if I go here, nothing has been seen over here. So in order to implement it, as I said, we need to add this font in the tailwind.config files. So let me open the tailwind.config files, and what we need to do is we need to add those font in these files. Is in this tailwind config file is font family, and what I can do is the name is indie flower. So I will give the similar variable in the theme. So let me add the indie flower, and be careful. So we need to be careful here. Let me see. Okay, so we need to be careful here because we should not make mistake over here. So we will be giving the variables, and the way we connect the indie flower with that indie flower font is adding the variable name, that is this one over here. So if we make the mistakes, then it will not reflect. So similarly, what I can do is I can do same thing for the class display, and as I said, be careful on this part, variable. And again, let me go over here and let me copy this font class display and let me add over here. So this part is completed. So step 4 is completed. So let's use those font we have added. So here, as you can see, we have already discussed we will be adding the H1 with the first font and the p tag with another font. So in order to do so, let's go to the page.tsx file, and the way we can add is we can just write font, and here you can see the autocomplete one, the suggested list, and as we have added in the Tailwind CSS, so we are seeing this. So in order to apply this font, we need to simply type font class display, and as you can see, it is already reflecting over here. Similarly, the font I will be using for the p tag is font indie flower, so it is reflecting. So if you remember, we have provided the different font weights also. So in order to use it, so if I go to the Tailwind file, so here you can see the if I want to use the font bold and font weight 700, I need to give the font bold. So if I go to the page.tsx, and if I go to here and font bold, so if I go here, so as you can see, it is reflecting. Similarly, I can try with the other things too, other words too, so it is reflecting. So yes, this is the way we can add the multiple local fonts to our NextJS project.